what are some ways people can identify their kind of core talent, that what they're born with? Like, how can they really look back? Is there maybe a strategy you can share, or is there maybe some best practices you can share about self-analyzing your strengths, talents, and
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So one of the things that I encourage people to do is do what I call an ABP statement, which is an attributes, beliefs, and perspectives statement. And what that does is it gives people an opportunity. Like, what's your descent? I don't want to guess here. What's your descent?
you mean my ethnicity?
Yeah, ethnicity. Yeah,
Oh, originally Persian.
Persian. Okay. So that would be an attribute, right? So like Persian, male, husband, father, whatever, all of those things are your beliefs. I believe in God, I believe in, the right to bear arms, I believe in free speech, whatever all those things are, and then your perspectives on things. Basically what ends up happening is when you create this ABB statement, you'll find that there are a number of things that just kind of pop off the page at you where you go, geez, that really encapsulates who I am, what I believe in, what really gets me fired up. And as you tie that back to your life, what you'll end up seeing is that there are a lot of common threads that built that bridge to get you to where you are now, where you've surrounded yourself with people who believed in those same sort of things or who did those same sort of things, or your jobs over time leverage those beliefs, leverage those attributes, leverage those perspectives. But it's only until we really put it down on paper and we look at everything that makes us into who we are right now as we sit here today, that is then easier to look back and see, oh yeah, okay, I can see how that common thread ties into all of these things that I've done over time, right? And so, I mean, we could obviously go into much further detail on that, but start with that. And I think you'll find that there are certain things on that piece of paper that just jump off the page at you, and you'll see that there's a gift there that I may have been overlooking.
And what's the next step someone takes? So they've identified what they kind of were good at, what they've, has been a core talent throughout their entire life that's led them to where they are at that point. What do they do with this information once it's identified now? Is there a strategy to analyzing if you should be an entrepreneur? Should you go to work for someone to utilize that skill?
Yeah, and I will put it to you this way. I don't believe that anyone should be an entrepreneur unless they're naturally wired to be an entrepreneur. I don't think that entrepreneurship is something that you can learn. I think you either have the tolerance to do it or you don't. And most people, frankly, think that they can be an entrepreneur, but they don't have the risk tolerance or the ability to do it. And so I don't want folks to get confused here that I'm pushing you always towards being an entrepreneur. I think that you can leverage your gift, leverage your unique talents, leverage your what in a way that can apply to existing organizations, existing nonprofits, existing companies, et cetera, without always having to go out and do something on your own. It's simply a matter of, are you a square peg in a square hole in that organization, or are you a square peg in a round hole and you need to switch departments, right? Something of that nature. So please don't misunderstand. I'm not pushing people towards being an entrepreneur unless they really, in their heart of hearts and in their soul, they know that this is something that they want to do. But ultimately, man, what I know is that if you have a clear understanding of what your gift is, and there's in the book you'll find that there's about 20 something different gifts that we've identified, from entertaining and communicating and teaching and healing and protecting and enrolling and these sort of things. And then it's simply a matter of how are you going to share that gift. But what I find is that most people, if they leapfrog the vehicle and go straight to the people, in other words, who are the people that I'm most compelled to serve? Who do I most want to work with on a daily basis? Who do I most want to help? Who do I most want to share my talents with? They can then sometimes back into the vehicle much easier than if they tried to start with the gift, then the vehicle, and then move to the people. I often find that people in general can look at at those that they're most compelled to serve and dig in on that area of focus first, and then they can back into everything else.
So what you're saying is discover where people are and then figure out what is the vehicle that's going to reach them the best and help them actually take in that talent in the most efficient way.
So to speak. I mean, like if you think about the ABP statement, right? Like I have a friend who started out in commercial real estate, and he was really, really good in commercial real estate. His gift in real estate was really enrolling, right? Because he had to enroll people in his vision of, hey, this is a great space for you. Here's why this is a great investment opportunity. Here's why, this is something you should consider, et cetera, et cetera. So he had to enroll people into the vision that he saw for the space, and he was good at what he did. But one day in, well, I don't know what it is. Geez, got about 12 years ago now, he was diagnosed with testicular cancer. And when he was diagnosed with testicular cancer, it was one of those things where like it was so advanced at that point that like his whole life came to a screeching halt. And all he could do was focus on trying to get himself better, try to heal himself and try to go through the therapy and the treatments that he had to go through in order to be healed. And when he was in the cancer ward going through all of these treatments, he was surrounded by people who really loved him. And he felt like it was the love of his friends and his family and that support that really helped him get through this and help him beat the cancer. But in those moments when he wasn't surrounded by others and he would walk the cancer ward to see, other people that were there, he saw that a lot of them were suffering alone. And he swore that if he beat the cancer, he would make sure that no one ever had to suffer alone ever again. And so as a result of that experience, again, if you go back to the ABP statement, his attributes is he's a cancer survivor, right? Like that couldn't have been on the list before that happened. But now as an attribute, he's a cancer survivor. And it was one of those things that just flew off the page at him where he knew this was something that he had to do. And he started something called Immerman Angels. His name is Johnny Immerman. He started something called Immerman Angels, which matches cancer sufferers with cancer survivors at any age, at any stage. And basically the idea is people, don't suffer alone. And so he's created this whole nonprofit about that same gift of enrollment. Now he's just enrolling people in the vision of helping people with cancer be paired with those who have survived and have beaten that particular affliction. Same gift, he's just applying it in different ways.